And recording. Adam, can you check to see how we sound?
Yeah, I just came on my notifications. I don't have any headphones though, but there's yeah.
Oh, did you put that for the thumbnail too?
Yeah, it came out on the thumbnail.
Like I said, boobs won't hurt getting viewers.
But it's booty though.
It is.
That's yours, yeah. It's not open.
No, hashtag not sponsored yet.
I can't see it though. I don't know how I do it.
Oh man, if Dr. Pepper wants to sponsor us,
It's
the ideal Texas sponsorship.
I honestly have no idea why Dr. Pepper is so associated with Texas. I feel like they'd say the same thing to every state.
I mean, they're made in Texas. It's a
Really?
Texas company.
I didn't know that. What part?
I have no idea. Fun fact though, Whole Foods is also a Texas company.
I did know that.
It seems odd.
I think that's from Austin or Houston.
Okay, never mind.
The weird part of Texas.
It's from Austin, enough said.
Personally, I like Austin. I think it's a cool city. I like Austin and Houston.
I've never been. I'd like to go.
Been to San Antonio.
I hear there's some pretty bitchin' bats over there.
Well, we got 2 people watching and pretty
Two
good.
people watching. Hi, people.
It's like
It's probably you and me.
Yeah, I just logged on. Like, yeah, it's just sounded all right. Yeah.
All right, who's gonna be the champ monitor?
I can do it. I do it anyway.
What?
Oh, just one of us needs to monitor the chat while we're talking our nonsense.
Oh, unfortunately, that means I still have to find our fucking go live link.
Monitor the chat. I can be semi-useful.
There we go. Tom's monitoring the chat.
Huh. I feel bad that we chose a picture with Shutterstock plastered all over it, but it's kind of worth it.
You pick your battles.
Oh, that thumbs out do got the booty. I'm watching the chat and no one has said anything.
God damn it, chat! We believed in you.
We'll just talk to ourselves then.
How does one do the thing? Like, I can't.
Hang on, let me make sure. I'm gonna listen to us through one ear.
It's the ideal way to listen to us. 2 ears is too much.
Well, I'm listening to us in the past and the present.
No.
Now
That
I
happens to
figure
me
out
every
how to do the
time.
future.
Every time we do your stream.
That might just be the NyQuil kicking in as you're forcing yourself to stay awake.
Okay, seriously, how do you get to the fucking live?
The light, I have no fucking idea. It's a pain in the ass to find it.
The live what?
/live.
Wait, what are you trying to find?
Us. Right now. This second. Oh, no shit, that actually worked. Okay. Oh, oops. Boom.
Back feedback. That's a back feed. One word.
Don't you fucking lie to me, YouTube. I never watched whatever the fuck that you said I watched.
I never watch our own videos. Well, we're still doing a video, so we might as well get started. So, welcome back to another episode of the Hentai Literature Club, where here we talk about hentai through the lens of literary criticism.
Hello.
I am the club president, Josh, and I am joined today by the one and only King Weeaboo Adam, and Chaz, our resident storyteller, GM, author.
I think this is our first thoroughly sausage fest edition
Yes.
of the Hentai Literature Club.
Would you like to explain why Melinda's not here?
She's not feeling well.
And she's sick, and then Annie is currently spending time with her family. So yeah, right now you got the sausage fest right now. Xavier might walk in right in the middle of this.
The sausagiest of the sausage fest. Truly, he is the bratwurst.
It brings us all together.
Obviously, if you read the title, you can tell that this is our Christmas special. So, if you didn't know it, the Japanese celebrate Christmas, and they like to make porn about it sometimes.
Well, I remember when I was taking Japanese in high school, sensei, I learned from a woman that was straight up from Nagasaki, Japan. And Melinda still tries to compare anime to that. I digress. I
Well,
learned.
my mom was a military wife, and she tries to correct my dad about military things sometimes. So I understand. Where it's like this person knows more.
Gotcha. Anyway, she said that because Japan is like literally 2% or less Christian, they have Christmas over there, but it's completely commercialized. It's entirely, you know, Santa and Rudolph and Frosty and stuff, which is funny because I was wondering if we were actually going to see like a Jesus Gets Laid like
No.
Tonga or something.
I mean, that's just like our Christmas.
Jesus Gets Nailed.
There you go.
Oh, we're going straight to hell.
That's what we're already doing the end card.
That's actually where I wanted to start was
Jesus Getting Nailed.
But like what do we all know about like Christmas in Japan? So like you said, it's a country where only 2% of the people are Christian. For them, Christmas is a holiday, but it's a purely commercial holiday, except for people there who are actually Christian. So it's not like you're probably not gonna see a nativity scene.
And don't they also separate it like they do with Valentine's Day and White Day, or am I thinking of that?
We usually separate it. Like
He means where it's like 2 holidays.
Yeah, like
Yep.
I thought there was one where girls
Yep.
give gifts to the guys and the guys give gifts.
that's Valentine's and White Day. I believe.
That is okay. So
Yeah.
so Christmas is like
It's just like a day for most of the part as far as I know, from my extensive anime knowledge. You know? It sounds weird, but
so.
If you may extensive my masterful fucking mind.
Oh, we have Tom today. Did Tom say hello?
No, but
I'm here in the background trying not to kill myself.
yeah, he's rolling on NyQuil right now due to overcoming an illness.
You might hear some incoherent ramblings from me.
So if the Japanese have Christmas but they don't have Thanksgiving, does that mean there's like no buffer and the shit just starts rolling into the stores in August?
You mean like here?
yeah.
Where you have
Yeah.
Christmas stuff going up like before Halloween starts.
Fucking literally fucking Michael's this year because Raven likes going to Michael's a lot for like the art supplies. She likes to bake. She likes to do all these different things. Michael's literally had Halloween loaded in the seasonal department and had an aisle's worth of wreaths. We came back a week later, mind you, I'm pretty sure it was still September, and it rotated. And there was an aisle of Halloween shit and Christmas.
I do want to point out we have the most American Christmas. We have Mountain Dew Christmas right there.
Oh
Yeah, boys. Compact.
When I posted the fact that we're gonna do a Christmas special, which I'm doing for you, Daestra, you said that if there was no episode near Christmas, you'd have nothing to do on Christmas Day. So if you don't watch this, I will be severely disappointed.
Daestra's not even fucking here.
And I posted this in the Discord. But Yusuf made a joke about the doujins I posted not having KFC and small cake, so how can it really be Japanese Christmas?
Yeah.
So
Is
for
that a thing?
yeah, if you
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
KFC is like the traditional.
Yeah, it's because it's like red and white, or because with Christmas, correct? So then red and white for KFC is the same. That's what that's what their marketing was for KFC. For
Like
them.
how people also give in Japan, they give Kit Kats, right, for graduation and good luck ceremonies. Because Kit Kat sounds like Kitokato, which means something related to good luck, I think. It's one of those things where it's like a coincidental relationship.
We got 1 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. One of those had to be Tom.
Oh, absolutely.
Is what I said.
And then you figure out which one I was.
Both.
So yeah, like KFC is the quote-unquote traditional Japanese family meal on Christmas Day. And you can look up pictures and you'll see fucking the Colonel with the Santa hat outside and everything.
The white
fucking
beard.
wacky.
Well, he has the white beard and everything.
He's practically Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's funny to think he was a real person, too.
Yeah.
And he hated KFC.
Church's chicken.
Yeah. Christmas cakes are also a big thing in Japan, which is what Yusuf was also referencing. But Christmas cake in Japan is not the same as Christmas cake here. Christmas cake here, for us Americans, usually Christmas cake is fruitcake, which nobody wants to eat. It's a terrible cake.
I've never actually had it.
It's not that bad, but it's not like a good cake. But I believe the traditional Japanese Christmas cake is a sponge cake with white frosting and strawberries. So
I thought Christmas cake was someone over the age of 25.
that's another reference that I was going to bring up. People call women in Japan a Christmas cake when they're 26. because nobody wants a Christmas cake after the 26th. It's a sexist joke, right? Well, I don't even know if it's a joke if people actually say it. Also, I don't live in Japan. I can't guarantee people say that. I've only heard people say that. But yeah, that's a thing apparently people say is, oh, she's a Christmas cake. She's 26, unmarried. Nobody wants her kind of thing. Which
what
I
a
think
weird cultural thing, because like 26 for us, okay, maybe in like the millennial mindset where people get married earlier and earlier, that's a concern.
Well, isn't it later and later for us?
Huh?
Is it later and later for the most part? But
It depends. I mean,
because like 50 years ago, they're like 15 years old getting married.
well, yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Well, like,
How long ago, Adam?
like, well,
you back in the
50
far off years
years
ago,
ago?
2003.
yeah, 50 years ago. Yeah.
But 50.
Okay,
In
here's-
1960, people were getting married at 15. Where?
The redneck least.
The dude that wrote Great Balls of Fire. You remember? Married his cousin,
Oh.
13 years old.
Okay, one account does not say people.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's the
the thing to understand though is that you also have people like having kids at like 16, 17. Xavier, the bratwurst is here.
There's the fucker.
We were really just stalling for him to get here.
Swear to God, if you guys hadn't started.
How long have we been live?
I can tell you.
Well, then we will like if
11 minutes.
God
Are
damn
you
it.
fucking kidding me?
You missed it, Xavier. Do we scoot
Apparently
over?
I didn't!
Do we scoot over or nah? Give him up straight.
Just pile up on everybody's lap.
We can scoot over a little if you want to bring that chair in over here, Xavier. Did you get a chance to read the hentai?
I didn't have my phone with me up until...
Why is your shirt torn?
Shut up!
It's always torn. They can't see it.
Also, nobody can see Adam.
That's fine, I'll set
I
this
think
Don't worry, no one's watching.
I mean, eventually, the hope is that somebody might stumble across this.
I think if you scoot back a little bit, you ought to be able to come into view.
It's almost like people don't want porn on Christmas Eve.
That's a fucking dirty lie.
Doesn't I remember actually seeing a statistic that I think on Pornhub views go temporarily down on Christmas and then shoot back up. It's like there's that Christian guilt that like, oh, I shouldn't be looking at porn. It's time for Jesus and family.
Get
Not
in
in
there.
Japan. Hentai.
Come here, man.
Get in there, motherfucker. You can't stop this fucking train. It's got no brakes.
Also, Adam, you basically need to cuddle Josh.
I was finally sitting this one out. I haven't read anything. I don't even know what the hell's gonna happen.
You gotta read along as we start talking. Anyways, what do you know, Xavier, about Christmas in Japan?
Christmas in Japan.
That isn't racist. That first thing that pops into your dirty ass mouth.
I mean,
Wait, what the fuck was I saying before you got here? I had a fucking point. It just went completely out the window.
You were talking about like age and marriage and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
whoa,
Like,
hold on here. When it comes to Japan, I really don't want to be part of this conversation.
well, like my sister, my little sister Sarah, she's already married and she has a kid and she just turned 19. So I think people are getting married earlier and earlier. Maybe it's a concern, but like 26, nobody considers 26 years old off the market.
I think it depends on how conservative and religious community
It
you
also
come from.
depends on a lot of other things, because okay, like people our age already have kids.
You should like angle yourself. That's
Ugh.
Yeah, you're not in the shot.
People our age already have kids usually, or busy with other things, and so basically it's like if you didn't net them after graduation, it's a grab bag.
You just never know what you're
Yeah,
gonna get.
it's like, do you have your shit together? I don't know what kind of damage you got.
So what do you know about Christmas in Japan, Xavier?
So make a Christmas story.
We already brought up KFC and Christmas cakes.
Oh yeah. They mostly have it the same, right? Because they've converted to the superior religion, Christianity.
That is horseshit.
Like 2%.
That is demographically fucking untrue.
They just
That Christianity's better than Shinto
No, that-
because Shinto didn't have a crusade.
I mean, they kind of did.
Didn't they have like a reverse crusade when they were fighting off the fucking Franciscans?
Yeah, they killed all the Christians. But guess who has their holiday in Japan?
Are you saying we won because we don't celebrate a Shintoist holiday in America?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, Adam. I mean, that's
Adam, what do you celebrate?
Adam celebrates the penis festival.
Wait until we stream from Adam's shrine. Next week.
They ring the bell. That's so good.
Adam has
You
a
don't know
spell.
what is what is it called? Miko, fucking priestess outfit.
Oh, hey, somebody tuned in. Hello, somebody. Please talk to us. We're terribly lonely.
Yeah. So what did you all expect when I gave you hentai that involved the tag Christmas? I
Uh,
looked it up. Some websites have Santa Claus, some don't, but most of them had Christmas.
Like I said, I thought a lot of like Santa boning horny ladies underneath the mistletoe. You know.
I mean, is it usually like
Hey, you gotta be careful with mistletoe.
some sad fucking loner is alone on Christmas Eve and it's just like, gee, Santa, I wish I got a present. And it's either, I don't have anything left, you can use my body, or I'm your present, and Santa's a,
He basically just guessed one of the texts.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, Xavier's read a lot of hentai, so that's why he has to be here, even if he hasn't read what I gave him.
Jay, you absolute fucking legend, sir. Hello.
So yeah, that is almost all of the hentai I found, including two of the ones I gave you. Was the lonely guy on Christmas, wishes they weren't lonely, and either a female Santa Claus gives themselves to this lonely guy, or they somehow end up with a sexual partner for Christmas, which is something I wanted to get in because apparently in Japan, Christmas is like a couple's holiday.
Yeah.
It's not a federal holiday to them because it's not like it doesn't hold the same religious significance for
Christmas
us.
Eve is the couple's holiday.
Yeah.
So what's Christmas Day?
Christmas Day is,
More family.
yeah, get KFC and go back to work.
You never left work.
It's so wacky to me.
You never left work.
It's like a lot of things people are going to be doing tomorrow for our own Christmas Eve. You know, couples will go out downtown, they'll see the huge Christmas tree and the lights and whatnot, go ice skating and whatnot. Similar thing happens Christmas Eve on Japan.
Do we have? I guess like Coca-Cola and stuff, but do we have something that's like super weirdly associated that like foreigners would look at and go, "Why the fuck is that a thing?" Like Macy's? Huh?
Fruitcake.
The parade? Or that
The
big
Macy's
city?
Day Parade?
Yeah. Was that the only thing? Civic have ever actually woken up early enough to see
Yeah,
it?
I guess like from a corporate standpoint, like Macy's and Coca-Cola are probably like the two companies I immediately associate with Christmas. Because Coca-Cola pushes that whole like polar bear branding around this time of year.
Right. Also Norelco.
The
You know-
shaving company?
Yeah, you don't remember Santa on the fucking razor? I used to love those commercials.
Oh.
There's those M&M's commercials.
I think
There we
Norelco.
Hershey's. And basically, it's super commercialized.
I mean, we are the capitalist society, so that KFC.
You just don't
I will
the game?
never fucking understand that. I will go to Kyoto on December 21st, and I will watch people walk in and out of a KFC, and I will still be dumb.
Kyoto, the true capital.
You
Chaz will
still,
never forget. he wishes for the day that Nobunaga comes back to Kyoto.
Well, you know,
Restores Japan to its rightful
Yo,
imperial.
Nobunaga comes back. He's gonna have some shit to say about everything.
well, he's like the Japanese King Arthur, right? He will rise again when the country's
No,
finished
no,
down.
he's not the Japanese King Arthur. As much as I would like him to be, difference being, people like King Arthur from where he's from, and in Japan they don't like Nobunaga.
Wasn't King Arthur like originally Celtic or something?
Yes,
Got
that
adopted.
is the.
The theory.
Also, cupcakes.
Get one of the white ones. They're way better.
you like
Well, if you wanna be
I've had enough of the white ones. Thank you, sir.
You like his dark skin?
Yeah, Xavier's part of the dark skin tag fandom.
Hello, fourth viewer.
Oh shit, we're up to 4.
We were up to 4.
How
Isn't
many-
that fucking sad?
How many of that is us?
2.
Adam
5.
has his
We're
phone.
hot damn.
What is
We're
that?
on
What
a
is that?
roll.
Is that?
Yeah, Adam's close. Actually, the only one of us watching is
Oh,
Tom.
then,
My bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because Tom's monitoring the chat from over there.
Oh, and one person just left. Fuck these
Oh,
dogs.
fuck these people.
Screw it.
Like, there's no
In
boobs
the-
on this.
The stream, we're done.
The thumbnail lied to me.
You know what? That's fair.
That's what
Clickbait.
Yeah, what do you think about that? The fact that Christmas Eve is kind of a couple's holiday in Japan, and that wasn't I don't know if you all knew that because I knew that.
No.
So I was wondering if you all thought that was going to form the tag, as Xavier pretty much predicted without reading anything.
Yeah, I did. I didn't see it. I did not see that. Although it kind of makes sense, like from a cultural perspective. Couples holiday, family holiday. Couples hopefully become family is the idea, I assume.
That is the idea. Get to it, Japan. Come on.
Do you need more Christmas?
Your economy's gonna crash, and you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
I
And
can't
then
wait for someone to actually like respond in fucking.
Japanese.
We won't be able to read it, but it'd be funny.
Well, Chaz could probably read it, but
I could read it phonetically. That doesn't mean I know what it means.
but if worst comes to worst, don't worry. I'm sure America will come in and save the day.
well, I don't know.
Adam, as somebody who consumes a lot of Japanese media that isn't just hentai like Xavier does, what do you know about how Christmas is portrayed in Japan? Because something I always think of is anime girls in Santa outfits, which happens as like a fan service episode in a lot of slice of life series like K-On!
Yeah, it does that a lot. Yeah, it does that a lot. And then, or
You
that.
had fan service?
Well, not particularly, but
It was fan service for that.
yeah.
But they have the Christmas episodes where the teacher makes some of the girls try on the Santa outfits.
Either that or they dress up as reindeer as well, or stuff like
And
that.
you saw that happen in one of the texts.
Yeah, but it was unexpected.
There was a twist.
I didn't see the.
It's not every day when a hentai really just zings me, but
Well, that's what happens when you don't read the text first. like okay.
Reindeer, oh boy, bestiality. Oh.
I've been fooled like this before.
So, yeah, I actually have them in the thumbnail. They're also posted on the Discord if you need an immediate link to these hentai. But the manga we're looking at, one of them is pretty plainly titled by Maru, which is just voluptuous tits. That's the one Xavier was describing, where it's two lonely people on Christmas end up having sex. Except this one, the girl lies about being Santa. And she's a... Yeah, the...
Okay, yeah, I do remember.
You've read that one?
Well, no, I remember that scenario.
Yeah. The voluptuous tits one is a woman moves across from a boy's dorm, and she uses a telescope to peep on the boys in the boys' dorm to masturbate to them. And one of the boys,
What a creep.
yeah, one of the boys loves huge boobs and tit jobs. She also happens to
what
be
a freak.
yeah. She also happens to be a woman with huge breasts. So Christmas time rolls around. They're both lonely, and the guy's masturbating. And the
Which
girl
is a
dresses.
scenario that could only happen in porn. There's no way some big titty chick is going to live across from a boys' dormitory and not get hit up constantly.
Yeah, so she
Well, you
dresses
let
up.
me Kemono?
Yeah, that's true. Like, she could just be a shut-in. They don't even know she's there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like she deliberately specifies wanting to fuck. She just literally has to walk outside and go.
That's improper.
Yeah, this is Japan we're talking about.
Oh, you know what? I know you're joking, but that's actually a fair counterpoint.
Yeah, so she breaks into this guy's room and she's like, "Hey, I'm Santa. I know everything about you, and I'm your Christmas gift." And the other one that
retard fucking fell for it.
Oh boy.
Like, oh, child support.
Oh yeah, and the other one is by Karma Tatsurou, and that's the Santa affair. And that's the one where it's the older woman, the MILF tag. She's awake when Santa comes to drop off her son's present. She's like, "Hey Santa, I'd like a present too." And Santa's like, "Oh, you're a lovely lady, but the sack only has presents for children." And so she goes up to Santa, grabs his sack, and she's like, "Well, the present I want's in here." And then that's the one where she proceeds to sleep with Santa. You assume that was going to be most of them.
Yeah,
And from the hentai I read, the woman dressing like Santa and tricking another guy, or a guy getting a woman as a present for Christmas, comes up way more often than women having sex with actual Santa.
Now, did that have the NTR tag?
This one? I don't think
Because
so.
what about Mrs. Claus?
I thought of that too.
Mrs. Claus.
We don't know if Mrs. Claus is part of the Japanese Santa lore, though.
Oh, that's true.
You only know
Like she's one of those things that only pops up in the mythology when it's convenient.
I prefer Thunder Claus.
Oh man, Thunder Claus is metal as fuck.
And the other one is by Palco Nagashima, and I believe that's the one that snuck up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, what was it that snuck up on YouTube?
Really?
Yeah.
The secret.
Do we wait? Do we spoil it for the audience?
Well, they probably read it, but I don't know.
They either read it or they're gonna read it.
We haven't even all read it, Adam.
Yes, Xavier. What do you think?
What's the secret that happens right here?
Is it boy?
Yes.
God damn!
It's a secret
Yeah,
wand.
he's good. There's a secret package, is what I'm saying.
It's a secret wand you don't see.
So yeah, a guy who's cross-dressing is about to go to a Christmas party, and so he orders a reindeer tail, and he has
That's totally a dude.
yeah, he has a little reindeer horns. He has like a little mini skirt, and he has the reindeer tail. Unfortunately, the tail he ordered is a butt plug. He wasn't expecting it to be a butt plug. He's like, I might as well try it on. And then this drunk guy who's upset about not having a girlfriend for Christmas walks into the wrong apartment, and the guy's like, in fear, slips the butt plug in there.
As one does.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you got the wrong apartment, bro.
Nary a week goes by when I have a fear butt plug shoved where the sun don't shine.
He rolled a 1 on it.
Just like hide the butt plug. Whoop!
Like, oh shit, someone walked in. Oh shit.
Why would you try it on? Like
I ordered it. I paid money for this. I'm gonna use it.
It's like I feel like I'm over analyzing it too much, but that's literally what it says on the tin.
This is porn logic.
Why would you?
Yeah.
This is a butt plug. I didn't want a butt plug.
I would say, if anything, the problem is that if you didn't want it, well, now you can't return it. You put it in your butt.
It's used now.
Yeah, so the guy dressed as a woman accidentally shoved the butt plug in, and then he's like, the hospital's closed already. I don't want to pay for the emergency service. So he asked the guy who just accidentally walked into his apartment to take the butt plug out, and the guy is like, I heard that the person who lives here is a guy. This is a girl.
And honestly, you know what? Even though they telegraphed the twist, I still didn't get it. I thought, okay, he's just wrong. I thought that little tidbit was going to disappear. You know what? I underestimated the media.
There's a chance that it could have been like, I don't want anyone to find out.
I thought of that too.
Yeah, and the guy's like, oh, this must be the guy's girlfriend. And then she's like, no guy lives here. And he's like, oh, so because your boyfriend's not here, he doesn't live here? He's like, I'm going to steal this guy's girlfriend. I'm going to have a girl for I was about to say Halloween.
I'm gonna do the NTR this year. I won't be the one.
Yeah, and so he basically just starts toying with this guy's butt plug as he's trying to help him take it out. Not
Daryl.
knowing it's a guy.
How's it going, Daryl? Yes, unfortunately, Anai has family, and my lovely Raven is not feeling well. We miss them both dearly, and Raven, if you are in the chat, mwah.
It's okay. We'll see them tomorrow and the day after tomorrow.
If not, then that's for you, Yusuf.
You sly bastard.
Yeah, and so the guy who mistakenly walked into the wrong apartment is playing with this other dude with the butt plug, like, oh, it's not coming out. And then the guy with the butt plug starting to feel good, and then he's like, well, you can't be the only one feeling good. Suck me off. Sucks him off. And the guy's like, well, I might as well go all the way now. Pulls down the mini skirt, and he's like, there's a penis.
And what a twist.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, I've gone too far. There's no turning back.
And you have to commend the commitment level of some of these people.
Which I do want to say though. Okay, Tom was able to get it right off the bat. Okay, I'm not a connoisseur here. To me, they still drew this guy like a chick. I'm going back to what I said back in the cross dressing.
That's why we've been over the cross dressing tag. I'm just like,
I've seen fucking Yukimura.
Hideyoshi?
There we go.
I mean, there's both.
Yeah. What was Yukimura again?
Yukimura was actually a girl.
That's right.
I feel like this one isn't as much of an egregious offender as some of the other ones. Because in this one, the guy doesn't have like a curvy figure. He's like, it's like a very petite looking person.
I kind of disagree. I mean, the ass is definitely very accentuated. The legs look very feminized. When he like grabs his nipple, I guess it definitely looks like they put curvature to it. I look at that. Look at those hips. That is not male hips in any anime art form except this.
That's why it's a trap. To be
Trap.
We don't use that term around here, Adam.
Is it a slur word?
But we didn't really talk about that as much in the trap, but we can in this one if we want. But no, we kind of did talk about it. 'Cause we talked about how trap can be an offensive term if you're an actual trans person, because you're not trying to trick anybody when you cross-dress. That's not the objective. You're trying to portray an authentic version of yourself. So I can understand why the term trap is used, because usually in anime, the idea is like, aha, this person has a penis. You thought they were a girl.
You fell for my trap.
I mean, I would kind of say this particular protag got trapped a little bit.
Well, is that
also
a trap?
yeah.
It was his fault.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
Which is how most traps work in real life, but...
No, it's your fault you fell for it in like an actual literal trap.
Yeah.
Dude looks like a lady.
It's like...
Yeah.
That is not a lady.
There absolutely are guys with feminine features. I'm not debating that. What I'm saying is, for some reason, and I don't understand why, whenever there's the cross-dressing tag or the trap tag or whatever terminology you want to use for it, they always draw one of the dudes like a woman, and I don't know.
I think you just usually fall for traps.
You need to start asking questions about that.
Jake will let's get it out.
Have you ever had the lights on when you were doing
That's
it?
okay, Adam. Just remember, she thinks you're her friend. I don't know, because it seems to me like if you're into the idea of being with someone who's cross-dressing, you would want it to look like they were cross-dressing, right? But I don't know. I don't fucking know. And I feel like if I ask too many questions, it'll somehow be offensive. So I won't.
Who the fuck cares?
I think that with the
I don't get why you would draw a male character as a woman instead of just bang a woman. Like, why bang a dude that looks like a woman instead of a woman? Like, if you want to be with guys, don't you want to be with a guy?
To put that into perspective,
Do tell.
have you seen some lesbians?
I think I understand what you're talking about. So you're saying
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that I have noticed some things, and how you look isn't really who you are.
That's a good point. Soul, how's it going, Soul? New Year confession. As a hentai reader yourself, you have always found this show offensive.
Finally.
Thank you.
I'm
You
sorry.
tried.
Yeah, I think I understand. There's how do I word this properly to get across what I mean?
Haha. I don't have to say it. Now I'm gonna get a drink.
Could you get me a Christmas due?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What occurs to me is that there might be some sort of like mental disconnect where you are sexually attracted to a person of one sex, but I guess mentally the attributes commonly associated with the other sex still appeal to you. I guess that makes sense.
I was gonna say, well, in real life.
Well, hey, before we get into it though, I do have to ask. So, what has offended you about the show? I'm deeply curious.
I always assume.
I hope it's everything.
I think people who like hentai find offense with our show sometimes because we can be a little closed-minded about certain tags.
I'm trying. I'm legitimately trying to understand. Yes, I absolutely admit that I was in the beginning, and I am going through a journey of circumspection, and I might not be there yet, but I think I've made progress.
But going to real life with the whole cross-dressing thing, it's like in real life people are attracted to people who don't dress to the sexual norm that's assumed of them. It's like there are people who purposely want to dress feminine, people who purposely want to have sex with men who are dressed in a feminine, I don't want to say facade, but like your
garb?
Yeah, garb or dress. And that's the appeal, is like it's a man, they've made themselves look feminine, and it's not always a sexual thing, like drag racing and what, it's not always a sexual thing. It's a performance thing in that case. But there are people who purposely like that, and to me it doesn't seem strange that people would like that in hentai. Because yeah, there's different sexual preferences, right? There's people who are heterosexual, people who are homosexual.
Yeah.
There's everything in between, and that includes being attracted to people of the opposite sex dressed as not their sexual norm, basically.
And traps exist in this nebulous area where straight people are fine with masturbating to it. Most straight people are. Some people are just like, ooh, and it's just like you're just uncomfortable with your sexuality.
Tom, as the
It's just a flat Buddha.
As the resident art guy, like, would you have any insight as to the artistic intent behind making that decision?
Probably has to do with the fact that the artist likes pretty boys.
I mean, absolutely, but this wasn't done. I'm just saying it's something that seems to crop up again and again when this tag is on a piece of work.
Well, I've seen people who talk about hentai featuring cross-dressing where they're bothered by the fact that the artist drew a woman with a penis basically, and they're like, oh, this is a guy. And to some people, they feel like that's cheating, that you can't just... I know he's laughing at. We can't talk about it though.
That's funny though. Is this my hair?
Yes, it is now.
But yeah, some people who like cross-dressing hentai don't like it when the artist basically draws a woman with a penis and says this is a man. Because to some people that feels like cheating, like they didn't... It's like they want a man who looks like they're dressing like a woman rather than a woman... The artist drew a woman and then added a penis and said it's a woman. Anyways, we're focusing too much again on the trap thing and not enough on the Christmas thing.
I just feel bad that we've somehow offended Soul. I guess I'm the only one that cares, so I'll shut up.
Well, I think that was a compliment. I took it as one.
Really? How so?
You offended somebody.
I mean, it's like, if it's always been offensive and they still tune in, that means they like it.
Well, it means they like us, not necessarily what we're doing.
I mean, they didn't have to watch.
I mean, they might not. I think
you're
They tuned in to say it's offensively.
But what were you all? Well, we already kind of went into this. Were you expecting anything other narratively or visually to be influenced when Christmas is added on top of this?
You know,
You got your hentai and you got a scoop of Christmas on top of it.
I kind of wish it was just
two scoops.
I kind of wish it was just like a gauntlet of Santa's penile adventures, because I would have loved to see like that plus other tags and just.
Oh, when do we start our show, The Penile Adventures? The Gauntlet of Penile Adventures.
But also, what do you? Is there something interesting being said?
The tags thing is one of the factors. Others is sometimes the whole ironic vibe of the show, making fun of hentai's writing. I know that it's you guys' thing, but bothers a constant reader. Well, you're also a constant reader, Xavier. How do you feel about that? Like, I think we just kind of make fun of everything. Like that's our style.
It is the nature of the show.
Well, I mean, yes.
I'm also not particularly okay. Well,
I would say,
I do like some tags. I'm not so devoted to one. They'll be like, "What are you talking about? This is the best thing ever."
Well, I would also say that, you know, as irreverent as we can be about just about anything, there's also legitimate like discussion and criticism that happens, and I think that's definitely part of the draw of the show, is that there's always more being said than you think, and it blows me away every time.
So, Adam, what do you think people like about adding Christmas to their hentai? Why would you want a seasonal hentai?
Well, it's like the Christmas, like it's like the beach episode. You just have to like it.
It's required.
It's just required, yeah, like that. But then the one thing I was thinking about though, like because in Japan, I don't think they have chimneys. So how does Santa, as far as I know, like how does Santa like get into the house?
Well, see, actually,
Answer that, Japan.
Titty Santa came through the window.
well, see, in Japan,
No, but Chaz, that's where you're wrong. I think.
in Japan, Santa and his elves have shinobi training.
Oh man, Ninja Santa? That's sick.
So they just break into people's houses and leave them there. It's like, what happened? Santa just came in and left presents. Like, what? Did he take anything?
Did you leave the mochi in the milk?
There's some doujinshi really well written. I would actually agree with that wholeheartedly. I think.
I think the Insect Girl we were a little more serious than usual because those are really well written.
Yeah,
I think it's also part of the fact that I don't think any of us were too enthralled.
But I also think some hentai doesn't take it so seriously, and I think that's why I like it.
Oh yeah.
Is that
hentai and the authors and the community, they're pretty great as a whole.
Yeah, I think there's already a sense of humor embedded into it.
Unless you like scat. Don't talk to me.
Xavier, what do you think is the reason for why would you like Christmas, a little Christmas Cool Whip on top of your hentai?
I think
It's a dollop.
because it's a seasonal thing, right? And so like people.
You want to get in the spirit of things.
All over your
I mean,
face.
like you've been masturbating to the same things all year. Maybe you got some bunny girls for Easter. Christmas comes around. And I want to feel something good for Christmas. So you look for the Christmas tag, and boom, there it is.
There is kind of a feel-good thing that I saw throughout the Christmas hentai doujins, where it kind of has like that happy ending with the I've been lonely for so long. Christmas is the time of the year that makes me feel the loneliest. Now I have a partner, and some of them end with a family being started. Even that kind of jokey one where the girl breaks in.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna have a real present for you next year, and in the foreground you see the pregnancy test.
I kind of want to throw Occam's razor at this. You said that an overarching like prevalence in the tag was for the chicks in Santa lingerie. Well, Santa lingerie is just kind of a thing that happens around this time of year. I'm thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if people look at this kind of thing year round, just because they like seeing chicks in that style of lingerie.
Christmas in July.
That does happen in one.
White Christmas, fat.
I'll make you a white Christmas.
The one thing I didn't know, like on the one with Santa though, in the panel 4 in page 4.
Panel 4, page 4. See, legitimate analysis.
He left his shoes on the
Santa
side.
left his shoes on the front door.
Yeah. So he went through the front door because I guess there's no locks. There's some safety.
He might have shinobi training, but
He just had to take his shoes off.
he's still Japanese.
No.
Yeah. He respects their culture though. He's like.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that the artist threw that in there. That Santa left his boots at the front door.
Yeah.
Also, those are pretty good boots, no?
Yeah.
Those are Santa boots. You gotta trudge through, like, I'm assuming, like, the 364 days of the year, he's just basically like a wild man. You know, so he's got the 8 reindeer, but he kills all the other ones.
So are we in the analysis part of this yet?
Yeah, we're about to. I already kind of gave like a brief summary of all of them, but let's start with the one with Adam's looking at. I'd be careful about putting that flat down on the table. Thankfully, you're being covered by the chalkboard.
Yeah.
But there's always a chance that if you put it the wrong, actually put porn on the camera.
One stray torpedo will sink this battleship.
Enhance. This is
Full screen.
This in front. Maybe a little barricade.
My hentai haven is getting.
No,
Too soon, Adam.
It's being bought by Faku.
Yeah.
Your cans are being bought by Faku.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, let's go to the one, the Santa affair. Who wants to talk about what happens in that one?
So we give the overview.
Yeah.
So literally, this Santa comes over, brings this child a gift, and the mom ends up seducing him. Eventually ends up getting pregnant by Santa Claus, which I don't know how a little kid would feel about that. My brother's dad is Santa.
Or sister.
What do you think about the fact?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that they never mentioned the kid's dad?
Well, hang on. That I think is neither here nor there. The child was probably just an artifice to get somebody to sleep with Santa. What I am disappointed in is that she mentions that Santa-san was her first love.
Yeah, that's on page.
But she has a child. She
think that's on
cheated
page
with
8.
her heart then.
I think...
yeah, page 8 she says, Santa's like, really, why would you have such strange taste wanting to do with an old man like me? And then she says that's because Santa was my first love.
I mean, now we can... I think like the audience can infer what she's talking about. When she's a kid, everybody loves Santa. Santa's so cool.
And then you just didn't develop that part of your brain correctly.
I was kind of hoping they would dive into that a little bit more. I was expecting like maybe some sort of backstory, even if it was like a panel or two, and talking about why that ingrained in the character so much.
Well, that's an interesting line of thinking, right? Because like Santa's almost like a fatherly figure. Obviously, Santa, even in the story, says like it's kind of weird that you're into me because.
Thank you for coming in. So happy New Year's. We are not as mean to hentai as we might come off. I promise. We tend to make fun of just everything because it's how we are, and it's hard for us to be serious. But thank you for coming in. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for checking us out. Happy holidays and happy New Year's to you, and please do enjoy your trip.
I love hentai. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yes, Daryl. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. It's literally the mom kissing Santa Claus song, but with fucking.
Yeah.
I saw mommy fucking Santa Claus.
Well, different song. Because I was thinking Santa presents himself as an old man, and he finds it weird that this woman's attracted to him. She says Santa was her first
It was
love.
like 800.
You're not interested in old men like this, are you?
But yeah, Santa's kind of a paternal figure, isn't he?
Did you ever see fucking Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, where he tried to make the argument that Santa Claus was in the Nicene Council?
No, I've never seen that.
I've never seen it either, but there's plenty of reviews for it, and that's something that comes up.
There's kind of like that interest in the paternal figure, isn't there? It's like Santa Claus is kind of a dilf in a way.
What
At
was
least
the? What was
not
got that
always.
dad bod.
I know. I know it happens. It doesn't make it any less strange to me.
Xavier, off camera.
I don't
Scoot
give,
in.
I don't give a shit how off camera I am. They can hear my voice. They don't need to look at me. I won't give a big two-face, but our fan of the opera.
He's actually making a white Christmas right now.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't wrong with it. It opened itself.
My zipper just goes down because I creamed my pants twice at work now.
I only saw it the second time.
Well, it was worse the first time, man. It was like all the way down my leg.
How did you clean that up?
Carefully.
Anyway, Daryl says, to me this lady simply has fetish for the Santa Claus figure in mythos, so when she saw him, she jumped on it. Quite
Yeah,
literally.
I guess that's better than some of the other things. Just like, oh man, I'm gonna fuck that unicorn.
I'm trying to put that
Or let
other.
that unicorn fuck me.
Oh man, that toaster's giving me saucy looks.
I'm trying to put that in other context. Like what's?
Well, I
It's
gave
just-
you one of the most popular hentai doujins involving Santa Claus.
It
There's
is
more
just,
than one where Santa gets some. What do you think it is that's sexually appealing about Santa Claus? Because
Dad bod. Dad bod.
He's got the dad bod. We know he can provide. He loves kids. That is pretty solid criteria. I understand that.
But he
Little big
Yeah.
sack.
he's almost a bum.
He's a bum.
He only works
and
one day out of the year.
He's never home. Right? Probably smells like reindeer and gingerbread. I don't know how well that would mix. People on the Alaska-Canada border, let me know.
See, here's the thing about Santa Claus, right?
about what's sexually appealing about Santa Claus.
Well, yeah. Think of it like this: if there's one person, and I use that in a very loose term, if there's one symbol,
It might not be people.
if there's one, I guess, any kind of archetype of just unremittent, unblemished awesomeness, what would you think of? Santa Claus is right there on the top of the list. You know, traditionally speaking, we're
Look
not
at
gonna.
Mark Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, that's another one, but I mean, you have to kind of be religious to go that way. But with Santa, right? You got a guy that's completely selfless, works his ass off one night, brings happiness to everybody. You remember from the point where you're a little tiny child, ingrained into you that this guy is just the coolest fucking thing, and you wait up hoping to see him, and you know all these things, and just. It's so baked into the cultural, I don't want to say zeitgeist, but the cultural psychology that Santa is just the best thing ever. I mean, it stands to reason with the way that just human fetishes tend to develop and the milieu that we go through on a daily basis. I get it.
No, I
Don't go
understand
there,
that.
X. I know where you're going.
I think a lot of people see Santa kind of like as that, like incorruptible goodness in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't say I personally see why you would sexualize that, but I can understand how for somebody that could be sexualized, and that why wouldn't you want a partner like that? I guess.
I can see it, and that's a little weird that I can see it, but I can see it. You know, with all the other fetishes that humanity tends to develop, like like anthro-humans, like for instance,
But it's like
the
when we were
bug
talking
girls,
about-
the monster girls.
I was gonna say like cat girls. When the cat girl hentais, you have some of them are, I love my cat so much. Wouldn't it be great if
I could fuck
I
it.
yeah, if I had a partner who had those good qualities I like in my cat, while being able to reciprocate physical and sexual love to me.
And there's something to be said about developments, but that's for another time. Okay, when we get to CBT, we'll do that.
Darryl says it's the father figure aspect, the maternal nature, non-judgmental, and the power of being Santa.
Being the Santa, thank you.
No, I absolutely see that as well, because I was gonna say,
Center Niklaus.
to me it's also connected to people who develop like MILF and DILF fetishes. There's people who sexualize being a mother or being a father as like the ideal sexual partner, and I can see how there's like good qualities to paternalness, to fatherhood, to motherhood that you could sexualize. And I can see how there's like those same good qualities you see in Santa Claus that could be sexualized.
I just think it's like one of those things like no real person is ever gonna compare to Santa Claus. Just ever. Santa Claus is gonna win 12 times out of 10. So yeah, I absolutely understand it, and I didn't until right this moment, but I think I get it.
I'm surprised I didn't see like more wholesome, cozy kind of hentai doujins involving Santa Claus the way we're talking about him right now.
I don't know. That one was pretty wholesome.
I think it was too. But there's like some heartwarming hentai that you read occasionally. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to it called Wholesome Hentai.
Was this one a standalone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted that sequel where Santa comes back and he's like, "Oh hey, I'm a dad again."
Because it goes to Mrs. Claus, so like 90 bitches jumped my bones.
Like that's probably what happened. Like either
Santa Claus is like Zeus.
Does it make sense?
Basically, that's what Thunder Claus is.
Like, yeah, I'd have to imagine, like, there's probably multiple women that would, ride that candy cane.
I was joking about that when you left to go get the tripod stand, that there were people who legitimately tried to seduce pizza boys. Or pizza men if you're a pizza man.
I am a pizza man!
I know I gendered it, but also pizza girls and pizza women.
They
They're
go with his boys and keep his man.
Pizza transportation engineer.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can't say pizza artist because you have to be the person making the pizza to be a pizza artist.
Delivery person.
No, I'm not opposed to the idea of a pizza artist, but it better be fucking Banksy with pepperoni. Like, if you're gonna call yourself a pizza artist, you better blow my fucking mind with pizza.
Well, whenever I was bored at work, I made it into a smiley face. I'm like, aha, artist.
Where's the pizza?
What a fucking artist.
The most Darryl sees is female Santa fucking lonely boys. Odd though, they are rarely Mrs. Claus. Yeah, I mean that's a huge preponderance.
Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, in hentai they kind of
Gloss over it.
when it's a girl who's Santa, it's usually she's like a Santa rather than the Santa.
Well, yeah, because
Santa is a title, not a person.
also like
Thor.
when does Mrs. Claus ever go in the sleigh? Santa is really sexist. She just stays at home with the elves making
She's
cookies.
like 900. She'll go out and she'll freeze to death.
So is Santa.
Yeah, but like he's got all this.
He's got the beard.
Yeah, and he probably has like
He's got
so
the
much
dad bod.
hair. Yeah.
But anyways, what I was trying to say about like there's people who genuinely try to seduce delivery people. There are people who will dress in lingerie and flash and expose themselves. And obviously it's like a porn trope, right? But it also happens in real life.
When I was there was like a 3-week period in my life where I was selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and I guess team leader or head dude was telling us this story of the one time he goes into this lady's house to sell a vacuum cleaner, and she's trying to hit on him the whole time and trying to get him to do his presentation in his underwear. That did not happen to me. Like, not fucking once did that happen.
That's how they get you, Chad.
Like, that's
You should have been like, what was this lady's address so I can warn her?
Well, that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so
What was this lady's daughter's address?
Yeah. So what I was trying to get is that if people legitimately try to seduce delivery people. If Santa was a real person, I can absolutely see how people would try to seduce Santa.
What do you think that I guess this is kind of off topic. What do you think the delivery person thing is?
I don't know. I guess in a way it's like it's the uniform.
I mean, yeah, but that's like job minus.
So
you know
a lot
I mean?
of it comes with people who are.
You're in a
already-
position of power over them in a way.
And I don't mean to shit talk anybody that does that profession. Absolutely not. When I say job minus, like culturally, for like the past 30 years, pizza boy, you know,
delivery boy,
fry cook. Literally cook with French fries. That's we've always seen that as like jobs that are somehow lesser than a normal job. There's a theory I don't personally subscribe to, because if you're gonna fucking do something for 8 hours, it's a fucking job. It doesn't matter if you're shoveling shit. But I don't know. Like I don't feel like the job and the security that comes with the job would necessarily be applied to people of that profession.
In a way, Santa Claus is the ultimate delivery boy.
Delivery man.
I do know of a famous series involving fucking Miss Claus, but that may not be important to the conversation.
Yeah, let's say that for the NTR day.
You can post it. Was it Darryl that said that?
Yes.
Go ahead and post the link in the Discord if you have it. I'll talk about it later if you put it up there.
By himself.
I mean, if people post hentai in the Discord as Daestra has, I will look at it and try to do an overview of it if you wish.
By the way, if we have anybody popping in right now that isn't a regular viewer, all of the text that we're talking about can be seen at the Discord link right above our good compatriots half of a head here.
So the next one I'd like to talk about.
Well, the one thing I like, the one thing I
you got something else? Yeah, go ahead.
Adam told you to shut the fuck up.
like stop, like because like Santa's always like, I guess it's presented as always like bringing gifts to the kids, right? Like he's like always doing good for some reason. So like I think the lady was also like giving back to him, kind of like
Wait, hang on.
The happy ending, yeah.
Are you trying to infer that the artist wanted to give back to Santa by getting him laid?
Yeah, you don't know.
Is that
Yeah, you never see Mrs.
Yeah, we
Claus?
don't know how often Mrs. Claus puts out, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking mind blowing.
You're welcome, Chaz. That's what I was waiting to the end for.
This is like a little offhanded comment. My favorite part is when Santa's is like, "Oh, the sack only has presents for children." She just grabs Santa by the sack. She's like, "The presents I want are in this sack."
Yeah.
How want you see?
Anyways, if Santa comes down your chimney, please don't sexually assault him. No,
He's got a job to do.
And he's a married man.
That's true.
That's not cool.
Unless you're into NTR, in which case, I mean, why Santa? Really?
Well, he knows what you're doing. I mean, you planned ahead.
I know what you're missing.
I could also imagine like a scenario where it's like, "Oh, Santa, I've been really naughty. I'm on the naughty list. You better do something about this."
Like, please, Santa, give me a present. I'll do anything.
A cool deal.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be like more bondage or discipline stuff going on.
Yeah, you wrap somebody up like a present.
Or you use them like a reindeer.
We're getting into the end of the episode when we
God damn it.
I'm not saying we have to stop. I'm just saying this is good fodder for later.
Okay.
Anyway, the next story we have is by Marui, and it's the Voluptuous Tits one, which is Christmas themed. It doesn't have a Christmas themed title, which is disappointing. You should always have a Christmas themed title.
You know what? That's a good point.
Work.
Yeah.
So Adam, what do you want to tell us about this Voluptuous Tits story?
There's a guy who likes tits, and he's like, he sees a burglar who brings him. He's like, you're not Santa Claus.
Hey, Freddie Sitar, good to see you.
Oh,
I think that was your venture protege.
I don't know about protege, but I still need to get to the 48 Laws of Power. I'll read it though.
It's more cheating than NTR. He does go back home.
That's fair.
The interesting aspect is the fact that Santa gets in your house without asking. It's kind of creepy when you think about it, or kinky if you're into it. Very poignant. Very poignant indeed.
It's also one of the only ones that I've seen, or that they're actually fingering it.
Oh, in this story?
Yeah, masturbation.
The woman's masturbating. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about that in hentai. You rarely see people stimulating themselves or each other with their hands. It's almost always mouth to mouth.
I feel like you do that because you just don't want to draw hands.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, because manga, you're supposed to draw very quickly, right?
Well, if you have a deadline, yeah.
Do it artists?
I don't know. I feel like I feel like if I was a mangaka, I would avoid this as much as I could. I just big lumpy penis. Right.
Lumpy?
What?
I mean, I'm not saying they're all lumpy, but usually they tend to be like there's some like truncated pickles going on.
Well, Pickles a Baki the Grappler
Lumpy
character.
space penis.
But yeah, in the story Voluptuous Tits, it's to recap for those of you who are just coming in, it's the story about the woman who is basically stalking these college guys at a dormitory.
There's a lack of solo stuff. Yeah, there's not a lot of masturbation hentai.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, and so this woman is basically stalking these boys from her apartment at a boys' dormitory. Christmas season is coming. She wants to get laid. She knows there's a guy who's always masturbating to women with big tits. And he also wants to get laid, so she dresses up like Santa, says she's Santa, and then proceeds to seduce the guy and have sex with him. There's actually a funny moment in this one where the guy's looking at the woman's vagina. He's like, it's my first time seeing an uncensored vagina.
Yeah.
But then to us, it's still censored.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like, they just kind of... They had a weird version of censorship in this one. Didn't they just, like, draw the genitals weird?
Well, they just kind of drew over them in a way.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
To me, it looks like... penis.
So, like I said, this story... I picked this one because it's one of the more popular ones, and it's also a little funny. But, like Xavier pointed out, this is, like, the typical trope when it comes to, like, the Christmas hentai. It is woman pretending to be Santa, seducing a guy, or man getting woman as Christmas present, or the woman is Santa. What do you think is the whole woman breaking in pretending to be Santa appeal? Because in a way it goes back to the fact that, who was it, Freddie right now, that said that Santa is kind of strange in the fact that he breaks into your house.
It's a good point. It could go into a lot of... who was it? Was it Darryl? I was talking about the Shota tag and women taking charge. It might not have been Darryl. I might just associate audience interaction and Hentai Literature Club with you, Darryl. I apologize.
Well, it's Darryl and Yusuf are the two most vocal members.
I could definitely see it as being turned on by the woman taking charge.
Is she really taking charge?
Oh, hey! See, I know my friend.
Is it really her taking charge or her just being a criminal? Because sometimes
she breaks his phone. When she breaks and enters a man's apartment, and she smashes his phone when he tries to call the cops.
I mean, that is the correct thing to do, people. If you're gonna break into somebody's house, make sure they can't call for help.
I should have known that would be the direction you were going with that advice. Maybe I don't know my friends as well.
We all have different areas of expertise.
In this one, I do think the woman is kind of taking the charge.
Oh yeah.
But there's on page 8 out of 16 for this story, there's a point where she's pleasuring him, and then she asks him, "Why aren't you saying anything?" Yeah. And the guy's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "I don't know if I'm doing any good. You're not fucking saying anything."
That's actually like an IRL problem.
Yeah, like a lot of things that I've heard women complain about men sexually is that men don't communicate enough in the bedroom.
Yeah, well, it's because like this goes into fucking
Zen meditation mode.
Well, I mean,
the OTAN.
or the other side, we're just
you go
either way, you're not formulating words all the time while you're doing the deed. That's not a priority.
Those women have been watching too much pornography.
That's true. Yeah, all these women just.
Hello, my love.
Are you watching porn?
No, I thought that was interesting because that's something that comes up really in sex, and she points out that that's the reason this guy might not have partners, is that he's not good at communicating. I
mean, all of them are like that. Not all of the people that show up in the Christmas ones that are the lonely guys are usually like that. Just like, I don't know how to talk to people. Let alone when you're having sex, you don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, he's a virgin. I mean, I don't know. I remember being confused as fuck. I might be in a panel with 3 fucking stallions that like took charge and told her what to do, but I didn't know my ass from my elbow at that point. So I kind of feel for the guy. Like, I don't know what the fuck to say.
Well, even as a guy, when you're having sex.
Well, I do now, but like back in the day, it was weird. I mean,
Well, you want feedback from your partner, right, to know that they're feeling good. It's
Yeah,
understandable
absolutely.
from the other end. You'd want the same thing.
Yeah, like when there's two virgins, it is incredibly awkward because you guys don't know what to do. You should communicate with each other. Like, what works, what doesn't work. Is she treating your penis like a bop?
Please don't.
Why is that not on our merchandise store? Penis-shaped boppet. Come on, that prints money.
Because that's gonna give women unrealistic expectations of what to do when they actually see a penis.
If people are using us to educate themselves, they're doing
Hey, this is under the education tag.
that's a goddamn loophole, and you know it.
If anybody watches these and they think about hentai in a way they weren't going to beforehand, that's been educational.
Now, to be fair, on some of those hentai penises, you absolutely can't treat those like a boppet. But that does not translate to the real world. Please, penises are sensitive.
I feel like we need the screen goes black with the web link for the PSA at the end.
If your penis has been abused.
If your penis has been abused. And you don't like it. Let's get that straight. Some people like having borderline genital mutilation.
Some people like genital mutilation. Adam? No. No.
Throwing
I'm just
people under the
kidding.
bus.
No, for the two of you that read it, what's something that you thought was interesting or grabbed your attention in the story? What was the point where you're reading something other than that moment I just pointed to that made you like at least chuckle or think about something?
The one thing that made me chuckle though, she's like on a ladder.
Oh yeah,
He's
she
like-
breaks in through the window.
Yeah, on page 4.
Yeah, there we go. Santa either comes in through the front door or he breaks in through your window.
Yeah.
What did I? What a strange twist on the mythos. Like the Japanese took this and they basically made it their own. Because we think of stuff and we think of like the night before Christmas and Santa come through the chimney and there's like, yeah, some fat guy makes gifts, brings them to you. Probably bangs your mom.
This kid
Does
sees
their Santa Claus have black hair too?
One thing I did think was interesting is, so midway through, right, the guy clearly, I don't want to say pieces it together, because I don't think he ever really fell for it, but he knows that she's not Santa, right?
He kind of doubts himself at the end.
How come?
Because she points out all that stuff that only he would know about. Like she points out like his favorite porn artist because she's seen them through the telescope.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like,
Someone said hi to you.
access denied 89. How's it going, access? I certainly appreciate it. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been streaming too much lately because I've been busy with work, but it will happen again. Anyway, thank you. We super appreciate it. I had a goddamn point. What was it? Oh yeah. How come she waited a whole year to show up again? Was she really sticking to the Santa trope? I mean, obviously, he wanted to see her again. She wanted to see him. She's been staring at his ass through the telescope.
Also, do they never leave their houses? Because is there not any point throughout the entire year?
Well, she points out his school schedule, so she knows when he leaves the house.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she done her research. That's good.
Well, she's
In fact, afterwards, she doesn't give him like her number for booty calls. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how come they never had any sort of continuous relationship at all whatsoever?
I
was
think,
strange to
I
me.
think she just wanted to just keep selling the whole Santa thing.
Yeah.
Up until it got to the point where she's like, okay, I'm going to let you into my workshop, and just takes him across the street.
Also, if I had lost my virginity and immediately gotten that chick pregnant, I'd have been pissed. Like, that is the worst dice roll.
It's like, gosh darn it! Damn my virile seed!
Hey, no problem. We like people in lurk mode. What sort of drawing are you working on, Access? I guess it's more fun to be a predator.
Okay. What?
I understand what he's saying.
Well, Chaz has made multiple predator-prey comments in relation to BDSM.
Which,
Oh, that kind of predator. Okay.
which I
wanna be
still
careful
don't
saying
like
what you
that
said.
wording. Because it's so easy to misconstrue. And if I have one purpose in life, it's try to keep my words from being misconstrued. And
Yeah, this is 2018. Anything you say can and will be used against you 50 years from now.
that's a good point.
We're never going to get hired to direct a movie for Disney.
Damn!
but hentai is asking. but the what's it called we'll be producers for the God of Hentai.
No, for Teruaki Murakami.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you wanted to point out that you saw in this story?
Hey, go for it, Access. When you're finished, post it in the Discord.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
see it.
Absolutely. Well, we'd be more than happy for you to share that with us.
It's a natural word that culture is making bad. It's part of nature. People get over it. I don't know if
Yeah, Pino, predators exist. They eat other animals.
You good?
Yeah.
Do you want a minute? I don't know if culture is necessarily making it bad. I mean, there's certainly a case to be made for that. People make it bad, and it gets associated with those people, and yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's part of etymology, right? When a word takes on a connotation, it's not really in anybody's control, but the word means that now. Maybe not by dictionary, but it does. So,
Like literally.
I don't know, to a certain extent, I would say that like trying to fight it is like swimming upstream, but as long as you guys know what I mean, that's all I can really ask for.
This artist, Marui.
Right there, Access. The Discord is floating right above Xavier's head. Also, it should be down below. Yes, it is. Join our Discord right there, pabam.
Yeah,
Which is actually a different link than the one we have up there, but they should both work. If they don't work,
I think
tell me.
one leads to one. I think one leads to the Hentai Lit Club and one leads to the general.
Yeah.
One leads to the front lobby.
They're the same Discord.
Yeah. But it's just what channel you end up opening. I don't know how they got mixed up like that.
How much titty can you handle?
So,
But this artist actually has another Christmas-centric hentai doujin. In that one, it's
Two?
yeah. In the other one, he's a young-looking guy, but it's a young-looking guy in his 30s, and he has two sisters in high school. Or they never say they're in high school, but they're wearing high school girl uniforms.
yeah, that's true. They could have been in middle school.
I was gonna say Japan doesn't have to do the whole. This college actually has uniforms, and these characters are 21, like which is what happens when hentai visual novels get translated into English. Anyways,
Yeah, because I think we've talked about this a couple of times, but like the basement fucking age of consent is like 14, and then each prefecture, or is it prefecture or
no, the national the national one is 14, but every prefecture has one that's above that because they don't want to be weird.
some of them are 15. I think some of them leave
Above
at
14.
anyways, and the other one that this guy drew, it's a guy in his 30s, and he teaches at at an elementary school.
Oh, the artist is known for his women being cute and voluptuous, also typically very wet. I would consider.
Was that Darryl that pointed it out?
Yes.
Darryl is a man of culture. I was going to point that out. Thank you for pointing it out ahead of time. But yeah, I didn't pick that one because I thought you guys might get too sidetracked by the youthful looking faces. And yeah, in that one, the guy is like, oh, I'm 30 now and I want Santa Claus to give me a gift. And his sister's like, he's 30 and he still believes in Santa. They're like, it's so pure and innocent though. We should just give him whatever he wants and say it's from Santa. And he's like, I really want Santa to give me a child this year. And so the two sisters end up sleeping with the brother as his Christmas gift to give him a child. But which is interesting because that's the third hentai doujin, including the one we're talking about right now, the one beforehand, where pregnancy plays a factor in it as a child being a gift.
And inbreeding.
Were they actually
I don't
siblings or
remember.
step siblings or?
That being 30 years old and believing in Santa, I remember my family actually fucked me over on that one. So I come from a family of like very strong lapsed Catholics. Cannot emphasize the lapsed enough, but the guilt was full fucking force.
They're just a bad Catholic.
So I remember one time, like I started growing up and I hit like 10 years old or something. I didn't believe in Santa Claus anymore. And then my parents gave me this guilt trip. Oh, you don't believe in Santa Claus anymore? Well, Santa Claus is God. You must not believe in Santa Claus. I literally didn't mean that Santa Claus was God, but that he was a part of God. And I was somehow bad for not believing in Santa Claus. So I believed in Santa Claus again. And I go up to these people, and I'm fucking 12 years old. And I say something, oh, I can't wait to see what happens when Santa Claus comes. And my grandmother looks at me with disdain on my face and goes, you still believe in Santa Claus? Fuck you, Grandma. I'm glad you're dead.
Alright, let's dial it back a bit.
I figured it out when I was like 8, but I kind of kept rolling with it because I didn't want to be a jerk to everybody else.
You know what was really bad in my case?
You didn't have anybody else to be a jerk to?
Well, my parents would take us. They wouldn't like let us stay home, right? They were way super overprotective that if we were left home, somebody might break in, or any number of fucking things. So we had to go with them everywhere. So they would actively take us to go buy Christmas gifts. Half the time we would see them wrap them, and they managed to convince us that the boxes were empty, and then on Christmas night Santa Claus would come and fill them with magic. I was a stupid fucking kid, and now when I looked how I turned out, some things just aren't surprising anymore.
Similar to magic, you see that?
Fuck you, I was an awesome changeling.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the Hentai doujin?
No, I think it was good, yeah.
What about you, Chaz? Was there anything else you feel like you can talk about here?
Anything I feel like I can talk about? I think I brought this up before, but it just reminds me that there are so many conventionally attractive women in the world that could be in just about any relationship they want, and they still feel lonely for some reason, or they're afraid to get out of their shell, or they fear rejection, because everybody fucking fears rejection. That's tried mentality. Just try it. Even if you don't think you're that pretty, somebody out there does. And I would even say that for the men too. Now, I am a guy with rock bottom self-esteem.
You're pretty, man.
I'm a guy with a rock bottom self-esteem. So, admittedly, it's hard for me to internalize this myself. Just fucking go for it. Just fucking go for it.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, rejection is pretty fucking scary.
You also be underage.
It's like I always say.
Yes, Adam, I guess that is a very real threat in today's day and age, that they could just be underage and you could end up in a lot of trouble.
Adam, you gotta stop asking Chris for dates, dog. Like, it's not working out. I say this every time.
But the number is backwards.
People are attracted to confidence. And if you don't have any confidence, which I didn't, believe me, I fucking didn't.
Women are attracted to confidence.
No, I would think to a certain extent men are too. Like Darryl said, it's the willingness and the I forget the exact words he used, but the enthusiasm and the taking action is attractive. It's sexy. I think
It's attractive to some people, but on the whole, it's actually a bit of a smattering. Whereas women are a bit more, yes, I like attractive men.
Okay. Either way, I'm just saying, if you don't have confidence, act like you do. That sounds fucking stupid. I know it sounds stupid, but eventually you start believing your own bullshit, and that's what happened to me. You think I was born this fucking sexual Tyrannosaurus dynamo of charisma? This is not who I was 10 fucking years ago.
He's actually just role-playing right now.
No, for real. For real. Like, you don't fucking understand how much self-loathing I carry around on a daily basis, but I get in front of the camera, and I'm this dude. And that's how I ended up with Raven, to be honest. I think she knows it. Have I been lying to you this whole time? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if you just admitted to lying to yourself.
Confidence and body image affects everything. I think so.
So on to the last hentai story. Can you tell me what the title is real quick? Because if for some reason my phone doesn't like displaying the titles of files.
Your phone is a homophobe?
No, it's a Pornhub.
Oh no, how did Pornhub come up? Let me get rid of that.
This is the last place on earth anybody should be shamed for looking at porn.
It was the link that Darryl posted.
It's Christmas no.
Oh, Christmas. Yeah, Christmas no Kemono, which is Christmas of Beast, isn't it?
No kimono?
No, Christmas no Komono.
Oh.
Kemono, yeah.
I have no idea what that
is. What is it? Does this Christmas Beast in
Yeah, Christmas Beast for the English translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the one that has the yaoi/cross-dressing tag. And the reason I picked that one wasn't because it had cross-dressing or yaoi involved, but it was the fact that I think that was, and Christmas.
You're a very straight man. I wouldn't expect you to pick that.
I picked that one because when I was looking at popular Christmas tag hentai, that was the one that I thought best showed that whole loneliness on Christmas kind of thing, which directly relates to the plot of the whole guy is alone on Christmas, finds a guy dressed like a girl, is attracted to them and ends up having sex with them and continues to have sex after he finds out that they're also a guy.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, because to me that one very obviously at the front had the whole lonely on Christmas looking for somebody, and then the guy gets pissed when he thinks that this other guy is a woman who is cosplaying for their partner kind of thing.
Right, yeah. And that I definitely see that jealousy that struck me, because
he's complaining about he's complaining about his friends all having dates for Christmas, and he's like, oh, they're probably making out with their girlfriends right now.
Fucking normies.
When you consider the fact that some people have a very dynamic sex life, when you have none, I can definitely see how it would like fucking chew you up inside, man.
I remember seeing that meme a few days ago. It's how do incels cope with the fact that Danny DeVito fucks?
I'm telling you, incels, pretend you have confidence. It fucking works. Get off that incels.me. Stop using lingo that nobody but you understands.
I can't totally get behind the whole confidence thing, because that's how we get America. Confidence is put above everything else.
You know what?
Even above ability.
You know what? We are a fucking superpower. Right now, look at where we are. We have nukes.
We put confidence above ability. Ergo, or leader.
I'm not saying you're wrong. In fact, I agree with you. However,
I know you're on the whole confidence thing.
Trump blows, so he's wrong.
My thing was always be somebody people want to date would be my advice to people.
Well, yeah, but see, nobody really knows what that is.
It's
different.
There's many studies, and I guess if you want to be a little weird about it, you can do some research on your target.
That's really weird.
That is really weird, but I mean, if you
think about the kind of person you want to date, and then be the kind of person that person wants to date.
Exactly.
I think when you put it that way, it's less weird.
It's less weird, but don't do it to the point where you compromise yourself.
See, I honestly don't think that works. I think, when we see ourselves with partners, we tend to idealize a person, and especially for guys. No offense to my brothers, but it's probably going to be a list of sexual traits and not necessarily personality traits for a good 75% of us. Which is why I say the confidence thing, because at the end of the day, none of us really understands the other sex to the point where anybody can conclusively say what they want. Granted, I'm conclusively saying confidence, but what I'm saying is that otherwise we think, oh, women want a guy with a cool car. My car's a piece of shit. Women want a guy with a lot of money. I was dick fucking broke for the last 4 years, and I still am. I just happen to pick up another job.
I was going to say, if you're the kind of person that thinks women want somebody with money and cars, you have a juvenile mindset.
What's it? Money, cars, good looks, good body. Look at me. I'm a tubby fat bastard, and my girlfriend bakes and keeps me that way.
Well, yeah. That way, like, what are you going to do? Cheat on her?
Shakiras.
That's the trap they get you in.
The point is, it could be like any number of things. Guy with the car, guy with the job, guy with the house, guy with the apartment, guy with fucking, I don't know, 3 bitches on his sleeve. You can insert X wherever you want.
It's right there.
X has inserted himself a few places.
If you allow your mind to wander and just conceptualize what you think somebody wants completely baseless, especially a fictional person.
Well, that's you put the word baseless in there. That's why I said if you think it's people, which is what a lot of people who claim to be incels say, women want men who have power, money, good looks. That's a juvenile.
They absolutely.
There are people who are like that, but then if you think all women are like that, I think you have a juvenile mindset.
They do want
and
that,
you're having the wrong idea of a woman in a way.
I'm just saying.
It's not all they want. That's the key. You absolutely shouldn't just be like, yeah, I can get by with this. You always work on trying to better yourself, but it's not all they want. If you are a genuine, what's the word? I don't want to make you sound like you're not people. If you are a catch, so to speak, then you'll get a girl. When the whole it's not that you shouldn't have or a guy, whatever. I don't give a shit really. You can go after dogs. But
Please don't.
their whole confidence thing, it's not, you shouldn't have any confidence. Have a healthy amount of confidence. Just don't be cocky and, try to get to the point where you're lying to yourself.
Okay, cocky and confidence are two different things.
No, I know, yeah.
But confidence and arrogance are two different things, I should say. Like, I'm not preaching arrogance.
But it's on the same line, and people who don't know confidence don't know where
That line is.
Yeah.
You remember
And
when
so-
this was about a trap
Yeah.
hentai?
That's why I'd like to get off this line.
Okay, I'm sorry. My only point is, I think trying to figure out what somebody wants is a nebulous thing, and I don't think there's any conclusive way to do it. That's all I wanted to say, and I apologize for derailing us.
So Xavier, what do you have to say about this?
I'm looking at the art on the Discord.
I don't have Discord on. Yes, I do. I think I do.
I already saw it.
We will derail with something else.
Well, what was something in this text that stood out to you other than the trap that surprised you? I'm using trap as a not.
As a tag.
You're using trap in the correct way, which is the hentai way. Or if you play Rainbow Six Siege, the Frost way.
What was something that stood out in this text to you, Adam? Other than the thing I pointed out about the whole lonely guy on Christmas exemplification.
One thing what did it say though? What did it say though?
Oh, when
He's like,
I
I'm
know that
done,
part.
I'm done drinking for life now. Like,
Oh.
I'm done drinking for life.
yeah, the
Yeah.
last page when
Yeah.
he's like, I've reevaluated my situations, and I realize now that sexually forcing myself on that guy might have been a dick thing to do. And so he stopped drinking and has been leading a quiet, peaceful life.
I have a question. What do you think they actually meant when they said, I'll feel funny? Was that... And now, the surface idea is that they were referring to orgasm, but do you think this could have been something about, like, opening up latent desires for their same sex? Because I kind of felt like it could go either way.
I think in this text, if we're going on the whole cross-dressing thing, is that there's nothing implied that the person cross-dressing is doing this for any sort of sexual reason.
I can't log into Discord. Go ahead.
Yeah, that the person who's cross-dressing wasn't doing it for a sexual reason. It was purely like a costume they were doing for a party. And then...
With a butt plug.
Yeah. Well, the butt plug is allegedly an accident in ordering. But that it turns into a sexual thing when the other man sexually pushes himself onto him. But it's like in the hentai, right? Like the guy's like, I've gone too far now, no turning back.
That's a very yaoi trope.
Yeah, it's a yaoi trope, but it's like that's not how that works in real life. At least,
Well, you think
probably
it's just
not
like
usually.
you think it's the narrative nudge to like just push them over the edge.
well, they're probably like, I already have a stiffy, might as well use it. Like,
Yeah, it's just like my penis is already ready to go. I gotta do something with it.
yeah, that's what, yeah.
And I don't want to waste my seed.
Oh, now he doesn't want to waste his seed.
I have to feel like in real life that'd be a bit of a jarring moment.
In real life, it's a crime.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I am not personally bisexual. I'm sure there's some people that just shrug and keep going. But like if I discovered the wrong set of parts on my partner, I would at least have to take a step back.
I think a lot of people who are heterosexual. I think a lot of people who identify as heterosexual would probably, in that situation, be confused.
Hey, you know what? That's a good point, Tom. Actually, like he was drunk, so if he did have these latent desires, his inhibitions.
So
would
what
probably,
you're saying, Tom? Never mind.
his inhibitions might have been lowered to the point where he felt like it was okay.
I don't know about okay, but like obviously we were
I'm not talking about the rape. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the male
Yeah,
relationship.
no,
Well,
Somebody else thumbed us down, huh?
Well, no,
Whoa.
he's not. He didn't rape. He was drunk, so he was the one that got raped.
I'm gonna thumb us down.
Take that, law.
No, because I was gonna say in real life, there's people who see people who cross-dress and then they get it pointed out that it's a man, and then it's like I suddenly don't know how to feel now, and I don't know. I guess people just need to work out their sexual issues and realize there's not really an issue with that whole thing. But was there something you wanted to point out other than that? It definitely has that whole yaoi aspect of like a sexual awakening of realizing you might be attracted to men. In this case, it's a man who dresses as a woman.
Yeah, with some of these though, I feel like, especially with the cross-dressing, it's like, are you really attracted to men, or were you attracted to a cute boy?
Access says, listen, I'm all about people doing whatever makes them happy, but if I went downstairs to nibble the love bean on a chick and was eye to eye with a pecker.
Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Fuck you, Alexa!
They've been listening on us the whole time.
That's another doujin.
How? How does that work?
Is
it like one of those, like an attachment?
I mean, have you seen people fuck Cortana?
No.
Have you seen Cortana find the Covenant?
I couldn't really hear you over the machine. What were you saying?
If Access went downstairs to nibble the love bean on a chick and came eye to eye with a pecker, exactly, like you'd need a minute. And I'm sorry, before I cut you off, you were saying about the what was it? Somebody who's heterosexual, the instinct is to like.
I wouldn't say instinct, but maybe instinct, but.
That is the initial reaction.
Yeah, it's like. Some people don't fully explore their own sexual identities and what they're comfortable with. I can see how there could be a situation where you'd be presented with this scenario and you might realize, hey, I might like this, but I think also, like, there's also going to be that situation where you're like, oh, this is absolutely not my thing kind of thing. Obviously, that's getting more into, like, the cross-dressing yaoi aspect of this.
I was thinking, like, insect girls.
Oh.
Very much not my thing.
You don't like a woman with 8 eyeballs?
No. Because, okay, I have...
What about 8 legs of love?
On a side note, I have enough trouble, like when somebody has like a lazy eye, or even with like somebody who's normal and they have, I don't know which eye to look at. I do have that problem, so I'll try to look at other things or just not look at them at all. So a person with 8 eyes, I was just be like,
I'm just picturing you fucking this chick and being everywhere but her face.
It's not always a sex thing. I can look at people in the eye without having sex with them. They'll have to hold back the urge, but they'll manage.
How come you won't look me in the eye? Which one?
Yeah, a whole lot of eyes are just...
You just have a hard time looking at both eyes at the same time, or?
Well, yeah, because I don't want to. Because when I do that, I'll just kind of look through people.
Just look at their nose
and not actually look at them. If I want to make it look like I'm looking at both of their eyes at the same time.
Well, I don't actually know how it works, but I assume like to them their periphery isn't very off. So I figure the one. Why am I talking about the fucking tips for lazy eye? The one that's looking at you is like the one that's on target. And
Trap hentai.
Adam, you did mention the whole dressing up like reindeer.
This is why we get thumbs down.
Because I guess like it's also like well, it could be a BDSM thing like I'm your mush
I'm your mush.
Yeah.
See, that could have been explored, but
the person who is dressed up is in this doujin assuming the less dominant sexual position.
I mean, yes, absolutely.
It's not a BDSM thing, but I do think there is like a slight power play at work. Yeah, there were uke and seme.
I mean, isn't that gonna be in any kind of like sexual act like that? Like somebody's on the bottom, right? I don't know if you can necessarily connect that to a reindeer costume.
Well, because it's the person who's dressed like an animal who is assuming the more passive position sexually, while the quote aggressor, to use one word, is the person not wearing an animal costume.
I don't know. I feel like if they were going for that, it would have been very easy for them to go further, and they didn't.
Well, I would say it's more of a subtext and something that's put right in front of you as like a main thing. But the reindeer costume obviously is like an aspect of the story because it's what sets off the whole sexual encounter with the butt plug getting stuck.
Also, I saw the outfit. I don't
not
think
a good reindeer outfit.
Yeah, it's like not the butt plug really. You could go without.
They were hoping for a regular reindeer tail. They weren't hoping for the reindeer butt plug.
Yeah, but like the reindeer butt plug by itself didn't make that whole thing homosexual. It's
So
just
like you would have gotten it without the tick.
yeah.
And I guess you would have also known it was a guy because it has the horns,
Yeah.
the saga.
They're antlers.
I mean, if you really want to sell it, get a clown nose. You're done.
Horns are one continuous thing, whereas antlers they branch out.
I still ask you, why would you try it on? Or it's not even a try, that's a try it in.
Just stick it in there. I don't know, man. If you use your money, you might as well.
Yeah, like you're curious about it.
So
Like they're like, no,
I almost feel like that supports my idea of these two characters having these latent homosexual desires that
No,
you know,
I don't.
circumstance and alcohol conspired to actually make possible.
Again, I don't think it was very homosexual. I think he just saw a cute boy. And
I think it's like a complicated conversation when it comes to the whole yaoi cross-dressing kind of thing. Because, like I said, in real life, there's people who have different levels of what they find attractive in a partner, and it's like even people who are heterosexual. Some people like tomboys. Some people like it when a woman has short hair, she's physically athletic, and while some people really like the whole long braided hair, flowy dresses kind of thing. I think it just kind of gets into the whole realm of sexual preference. Anyways, what did you?
fucking noise was that?
The the H.
You went like
So what's something that you guys saw that either wasn't there or was there that kind of flowed through all of these Christmas tag texts?
A penis.
Penis was definitely involved in all of them. So it's something that we kind of brought up at the beginning when we were just talking about Christmas in Japan in general is there's really no Christianity involved. That's also something that doesn't come up in the text, and that
I mean, I would argue that there's no Christianity involved in ours. But
well, that's because Christmas in America is a huge commercial thing.
I mean, that and it's also a giant pagan fuckfest.
One of that's another holiday.
Easter.
I don't know. It always weirds me out when I see the Keep Christ in Christmas bumper stickers. Like, wasn't there in the first place.
No, Christmas is Christian. It's the thing that they took it from. It's not.
It's like I don't think you can make a solid argument that there's still anything other than pagan trappings involved with the holiday.
Yeah.
Like the wreath and the tree are there, and they have nothing to do with Christianity. But I don't think you can make a solid argument that implies there's some sort of pagan streak in Christmas, other than let's just take the things that remind people of the pagan holiday and throw it in our Christian holiday, and they won't feel as bad when we force it on them. Yeah. So what was something you all saw that kind of... One thing I saw was the impregnation was one of them, the whole child as a gift kind of thing, as well as the wanting a partner during like that whole holiday season where you see everybody else has a partner kind of thing.
You know, as somebody who usually suffers from seasonal affectiveness disorder, that... I don't know if I would necessarily say that struck a nerve, but it's very easy to become jaded around the holidays. It's very easy to just look at this and go, what the fuck is this? None of this matters. And just to have that little extra nudge of humanity, I feel like could mean a lot. So yeah, absolutely. What's the words that I'm looking for? It's almost like watching a Christmas special, you know, and towards the end of the Christmas special, you know, they just give you that little spark back. It's like, yeah, everything is shitty, but here's this spark. Maybe not everything has to be. And I think...
Yeah, world of darkness.
Whether
it is Sally for a little bit, and then at the werewolf.
What happened to Sally?
The alpha told me to not let anyone get away. That's what happened.
Now, I don't know if that is by virtue of the Christmas holiday itself, or if that was deliberate by the mangaka, but that's definitely something that I saw.
What do you guys think of like the opinion that like people want to like I guess cuddle during the colder seasons or like have a partner for like the colder seasons to keep you warm?
I don't know. I mean,
well, yeah, that's a very natural thing. Is be like,
well, because when you cuddle with somebody and you're close to somebody, there's a release of endorphins in your head.
Makes you trust them more.
Yeah, it makes you trust them more, and it actually makes you more likely to become sad or depressed when they're not there. I can understand how you could get like a secondary effect from just seeing everybody partner up with each other while you're left out of it.
And you're just like, oh. It's understandable.
Yeah, I definitely think something like if I were to say there's like a latent desire in the Christmas tag, it's that desire for a partner comes to the forefront. Even though there's a lot of that in hentai in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's lonely people and lonely people want partners. Sometimes it's just strictly sexual. Sometimes there's the romantic element to it. But I think that idea of feeling lonely and wanting somebody to kind of alleviate that loneliness kind of comes out in the Christmas tag.
It's nice and wholesome, despite alleged crimes.
Yeah, I guess all in all, this was kind of that rare feel-good fat material.
We should probably make our own Christmas hentai now.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Our present to you.
Chaz, you said you wanted to involve more of the whole reindeer animal play and bondage.
That seems natural to me. So am I kicking this off?
You can if you want. I'd like to point out that not that I want to point out, but I'd like to start out by saying Santa's going to be our male protagonist.
Sure.
So who wants to come up with a female protagonist?
I'll do it.
Go ahead. Is it going to be Mrs. Claus?
No. No, it's
That's
not.
just vanilla.
Is it going to be a male protagonist?
No.
What do you got?
It's gonna be one of the reindeer.
They're like, it's the Easter Bunny.
So are the reindeer actually monster girls?
Yes, they're
Wait.
centaurs.
A reindeer centaur. You want the?
Do they have like the
Yeah.
Do you have a specific reindeer centaur in mind?
Let's go.
Blitzer.
Blitzen. Blitzen is. I feel like Blitzen is a bit more of a tomboy, so let's. What do you think? Going through the song, who would make the best? Who would make the best centaur reindeer?
On Donner, on Blitzen.
No, he's talking about the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I mean,
Yeah.
those are the same eight.
Donner.
Right, yeah, I know.
Prancer, Dancer, Donner,
Vixen.
Blitzen, Vixen.
There's Vixen. We'll go with Vixen.
Okay.
Add that MILF tag.
So you want a MILF reindeer centaur.
So basically Centauria with antlers.
Is she still going to have the blonde hair, though? Or is she going to have, like, brown reindeer hair?
Let's give her red hair.
Red hair? Adam, how do you think this scenario gets started? With a MILF reindeer centaur and Santa? Or would you like Chaz to pick up the heavy lifting right here?
I like Chaz to carry the weight.
Alright, Chaz, you got to carry some narrative weight here.
Okay, so my writing prompt is Santa Claus, bondage / discipline, and Vixen the centaur lady.
The centaur MILF with red hair.
Wait, when was it decided she had red hair, or you just like...
No, Xavier said you wanted
Well,
to have
I
red hair.
thought of one kind of, but I don't know.
Well, lay it on me, and I'll work out the kinks.
Like
Or add more.
it's like Vixen, Vixen, right?
Yes.
Like Vixen, goes through Santa's sack of presents and finds some cookies and starts eating them. It says like, no, that's for the kids, and then he starts getting from there like a punishment.
Wait, it's for the kids, but it's
Santa
from the
gives
kids.
the cookies.
No, it's like, but like it's it's like he
Well, they're the stocking stuffers.
Yeah.
Some people put candies and stuff like that in stockings, and
Yeah.
it's usually assumed that Santa also stuffs your stocking.
Yeah.
Ba-doom-tsh.
yeah that.
So I guess you can work it from there, Chaz.
Oh, I can work it from there. Okay.
Well, you threw in, you wanted the master animal play in there. And
Well,
the
see, I was
bondage play.
thinking, like my original idea was the reindeer are unavailable, so this team of 8 women have to fill in 1 year, and it goes from there. I wasn't expecting an actual reindeer. This is interesting. It's okay. I can do it. Ready. Powers activate. Well, I do the SpongeBob photosynthesis thing. So what direction? Like, how does this all wrap up? Okay, I got it. I got it. So as punishment, Santa makes Vixen pull the sleigh all by herself one year and gives the rest of them the night off. Unfortunately, Vixen is not strong enough, and so the sleigh ends up crash landing. And Santa says, "Hey, just they start cuddling for warmth, but they're like, just because we're crash landed here, doesn't mean that you get out of your punishment." So then he starts punishing her, and it turns into sex, so they can both keep warm.
You
So
threw in the kinks there, so you gotta point out how the master animal play gets kind of.
The master animal play. I mean, okay, how exactly? What are you looking for?
Because there's sexual acts that usually get involved with master animal play, as well as at some point he has to.
Well, again, I was thinking like regular chicks and like a harness or something, but
You can still have a harness and reins.
well, yeah, but
They come pre-equipped with that. I made this easier.
what exactly are you looking for here?
Well, I guess I'll put in some creative juice in here. At some point, I don't know. You have to involve like the bondage, the shibari that a lot of hentai has, but instead of the rope, it has to be the Christmas ribbons that you wrap up your presents with.
That's fucking genius. So you're looking for a specific sex act that Santa does with the shibari Christmas ribbons.
Oh shit! Perfect.
What did you find? Are you gonna post it in the Discord?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still can't log into the Discord.
All right, go ahead and keep going, Jazz.
All right, specifics. All right, I can do this. So, I'm going in a specific direction with this. Oh, okay. I've had enough caffeine. I can do this. So, Santa is going to use the ribbons to sort of basically tie Vixen to a tree and kind of literally leave her hanging as he goes to search for more firewood. And part of the punishment is sort of leaving her exposed to the cold. Some people might use ice play. She is
Would you
more.
call this cold play?
Huh?
Would you call this
Damn
cold play?
it.
You can go fuck yourself right now. That is an awful ban. And I guess being left out to the snow, unable to move, starts getting her blood pumping a little more. Santa eventually comes back, and Vixen starts begging him to warm her up a little bit. And maybe he doesn't quite like the way she's begging, so he'll take out the whip a little bit before he finally decides to untie
I feel like
her.
through all this, Santa's slightly hesitant, but feels like he has to do this.
He has a what?
I feel like Santa's hesitant the whole time, but feels like he kind of has to do this to get her back into proper reindeer shape.
This is your Santa. This is your pro tag.
Oh, Vixen's a hemodairy. I'm gonna teach you who's on top.
Well, how does this all wrap up then?
How does this all wrap up?
Obviously, sexy things are going to happen continuously until
Pregnancy.
So what happens is, this is actually
This is Xavier Space.
No.
what happens is because they're crash landed. This is the first year ever that Santa's late, and now as punishment, Vixen has to work by herself with Santa for the rest of the year, getting presents to all the children that they missed that night, which leads to more sexy times.
God damn, that was a triple punishment.
So what do we need?
Hey.
on this?
I can be hardcore sometimes, alright?
Well, we got to think of a name for this hentai now.
The tight before Christmas.
What were you about to say?
Well, ever Santa's sleigh.
Santa slut.
I was gonna, did you mean Santa's slave?
Or like, yeah, I guess, or it's like, yeah, that works too.
What did you say?
I said the tight before Christmas.
Time before Christmas. Do you have any suggestions, Xavier?
I
Or do you want to vote one of them?
don't know how tight Vixen is.
I assume that he meant tightness more like rope bondage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I was actually making a vaginal fucking joke. But,
No.
I mean, you can go with that.
It's a multi-layer.
Yeah, let's go with
Where?
tight. We'll go with the tight before Christmas.
All right, the tight before Christmas. I know we got a little off topic, but I hope you all enjoyed our kind of last minute late night.
We fucking did 5 loop-de-loops around the topic and graced out at a tangent, but
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this Christmas episode of the Hentai Literature Club. We've done a Christmas episode for what? This is the 3rd year in a row now? Except last year was the Gangrel Before Christmas, and the year before that was the How Not to Ranger.
I think it was 4th. Wait, no, we did Elephant Ranger at the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were back to
Because
back.
they're the same thing.
So that means there's only been 1 year that Capcom has been extant where we didn't have a Christmas special? Did we really not do anything the first year?
I don't know. I think we took the.
You did a Halloween special when I wasn't involved with the
That's
Team
right.
of Horrors.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't do a Christmas special that year because I remember just being completely fucked with work and I didn't. There was like a 3-month block where I didn't upload anything. Never again.
Yeah. So yeah, you have our Twitters here if you want to follow us. If you go down to the description of the video, there's all the links and blah 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 to social media. If you want to throw money at us and help us get better equipment and whatnot, we have a Patreon. But otherwise, if you're tuning into this or listening and discussing with us, we're just thankful for you to be here. We hope you all have an enjoyable holidays, whether you believe in anything or not. And hopefully it's not a shitty time of year for you, because that's the best you can hope for sometimes. Other than that, stay caffeinated and fap on. Alright, let's stop this stream.
Can't stop this crazy thing.
This fuck train has no brakes.
Oh.